Fred, this is a hoot. Thank you for coming here, and going to talk a little bit about Roll O Bowl. Fred, where are you from? Where's hometown for you?
Right where I live now.
And that's where?
Watts Flats. Watts Flats.
Being in Watts Flats, and of course one of the things we're talking about here is that Roll O Bowl Speedway. Did you know that the McNitts had any idea that they were going to actually create a racetrack?
No, not when they did it, no.
Yeah.
No.
Did you know them at all?
Oh yeah, sure. I went to school with Howard. He was the older brother.
Right.
Went to school with him, yeah. And these two here I went to school with, but they was younger.
Yeah. Did you get a sense that that area, the farm, would actually ever be used as a racetrack?
Not until they started it. You run through the creek there on both ends to begin with, and then they finally filled in one end, and so you just run through the creek on one end.
So when you close your eyes, Fred, and you visualize the track, how would you enter the track? Talk to me as to how you'd enter the track and what the track really, how it ran.
Well, the track itself run east and west, and you come into the track from the pit area from would be the east end, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they was all right into a hollow, like there was a hollow where the track was made. Well, you know where it was. The upper end of it was the pit area.
Mm-hmm.
And they started the race on the lower end of the track, and so you went east and then around and went back west and east and west. Most of it.
Were you there day one, the first?
I can't remember whether I was there when they first started. I doubt that I was.
Right.
But I know I raced the first year they was there.
Right.
But I don't think I was there when they opened it up.
You had pretty good success there.
Yeah, yeah.
According to our historian Randy Anderson, you won 5 races, 5 features.
Yeah, I was High Point man one year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was lucky to do that. Blinky's buddy was really ahead of me. And the final feature, he had a flat tire and I beat him, so give me the high point.
That's racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was Dick Pangborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you went there, who were the guys that you were most concerned about as far as racing, who had some reputation as being good drivers?
Well, Pangborn was one of them, and Blinky did his good job.
Right.
And Johnny Whitehead.
Right.
There was another fellow by the name of Morgan. I think he came from down around Warren, Youngsville, Warren, or somewhere.
Right.
And him and I had quite a rivalry.
Right.
But I can't remember his first name, only Morgan. I can't even remember his number, really.
What was your number?
711.
711? Why that?
I don't know.
In fact, I'm looking at an article here in 1956 that says Eggleston tops jalopies. Hometowner Freddie Eggleston threw dust in the faces of 31 other drivers yesterday, spurring his 1946 six-cylinder Ford to a wide margin victory in the Roll O Bowl Jalopy stock car race. 300 fans looking on as Eggleston and Watts Flats shot ahead of and easily kept the lead ahead of Gary Hilden and Speed Lathrop.
Hilden or Hildum?
Must be Hilden, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You guys had some pretty good crowds.
Yeah, they did real well there for, I don't know, 3-4 years, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, did you race during that time period, those 3 or 4 years?
Yeah. Yeah. After they closed the track, I don't know, my friend Leo Yeager and we tried to run the track but it was just too far gone. You couldn't bring it back. And I mean, they'd started like Skyline Racetrack and State Line, and you just couldn't bring it back.
So you were thinking...
We run it about 3 weeks, I think, and quit.
Did you really? This would have been in the early 60s?
Well, after they had shut it down for a year, yeah.
What was the upkeep like on it? It must have been very difficult.
Well, they didn't have much upkeep. They just they didn't really have a grader. I think it was just an old thing they dragged around to smooth the track up a little bit. And Don there, he'd know more about that than I would.
Yep.
And Skip Furlow there, when he got hurt, he wasn't racing. He was on the water truck or something when it come loose, and that's what hurt him. Yeah, I think he was only 16 at the time or something, I believe.
With your number 711, do you recall any particular incidents which would have been accidents that would have, you recall, or certain crazy things that may have occurred at the Roll O Bowl?
Yeah. If I could get Red McNitt's attention, I'd call him over here. Red McNitt, tell him to come over here.
He's an original.
Well, we're going to give you the devil. Get over here.
I mean, shoot, I've been there. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
have a seat there. Go ahead.
They wanted to know if I could give them anything exciting that ever happened. Do you remember the day on coming out of the fourth turn and you rolled over there on the bank?
Yeah.
And there was no place for me to go and they hit you or go above you. And I went above you and the wheels run right along the door.
Yeah.
And here he is sticking his head up out of the car.
Let's look and see if he want to do it again. No, I remember that. That was a little thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Them was the good old days. You know?
Yep. They was wondering about the upkeep. You probably know more about the upkeep than I do. They didn't want much upkeep to it, was there? Only they dragged something around to smooth it up a little bit.
And had that little dozer there,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
Worked it over a little bit. Wasn't that much. And then when it was dry, we watered.
Yeah.
Was the next door neighbor McDonald? Did he help you at all? Was he part of your the track? No.
No. He was just at my house. I tried to get him to come over.
Did you really?
Yeah, see his barn there?
Right.
That's gone.
Yeah.
That burned to the ground.
Right.
He bought me over that clipping, had it made up. He asked if I'd seen it. I said, yeah, I got one.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah. No, he was just at the house.
I stopped by yesterday just to introduce myself. And,
Yeah.
yeah. He may walk over today, this afternoon, to the track itself.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Don told him to.
Yeah.
Don told him to come on over.
Yeah. So what do you know about this guy, Fred Eggleston? Let's. He just told the story about you. You must have a story about him.
I don't really want to tell it.
Oh, don't tell him.
No. No, I don't. I know he was wild. I guess we all was.
But he won a few races. I mean, he
Oh,
must have
yeah.
been a marked man. You win 5 races there. He was a point leader. And I understand he punctured the tire of Dick Pangborn so he could win the...
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah. The old Ford would run, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what kind of car did you select, Fred? What was
It
your...
was an old Ford, 6-cylinder, just like you read in there.
Right?
And that's the only one I ever run. All the time I run there,
Right.
run that same car.
Right.
I bought it for $25
Did you really?
for a guy I worked with. And it sat out behind his barn, and that was my race car.
Did you put much into it at all?
No.
What did you have to do to sort of comply with the McNitt's rules?
Well, they didn't have much rules, I guess.
Try to hide stuff he did.
Yeah. I can't really remember any real strict rules, can you?
No.
I mean, they tried to keep everything stocked. They didn't go to the racing stuff that they do like now, but
The only thing I ever done is put that flywheel in there.
yeah, a lot of them did
Got
that.
away with that.
Yeah, a lot of them did that.
Well, it looked like there was an article here that said newcomers Stan Walters of Randolph rumbled to a comfortable margin feature victory yesterday as the Jalopy Track Roll O Bowl continued to crack down on irregularities among its stock car drivers. This would have been the first year. 2 disqualifications, one for alleged dirty driving and the other for disregards of safety rules, enlivened the 8-event program. So what were you guys doing? Dirty driving?
Run somebody over. Run them off the track.
Did you actually disqualify people?
Or
Black flag?
if it was, yeah,
where
black
you
flag.
could see it.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of that went on, you hit it, you know.
yeah.
I did it and you did it.
Was there ever a time when you recall sort of an incident in the pits afterwards, or the drivers got a little heated?
How about Johnny Messenger?
Yeah,
He run for Hill Higher. He run up through the woods and all the James boys was right on him. Beulah jumped in her car and picked him up on Hill Higher and didn't come back.
do you remember Bill Ireland when he
Oh,
come
wow.
down and raced and he had 2x4s nailed together for roll bars in his car?
Yeah.
A pit helmet.
Yeah.
Now, was this the same Bill Ireland and a demolition derby, Red, you were talking about?
Yeah. I told him when he drove his wife's Chrysler in it.
Yeah.
I told everybody out there, get him. And he had to hide it in the woods. I don't think she ever seen it again. He probably told her somebody stole it. I don't know.
So I mean, it still amazes me. Somebody drove the car, visualized a car that's sitting up watching the race. All of a sudden, in your demolition derby, this is a stock car, right?
Yeah. Well, you had to know Bill.
Yeah.
He was one of a kind, Bill Arnold.
Describe him. You don't.
Not really.
I went to school with him, but hey, he wasn't dumb, but he was. Let's say he was different.
Yeah, that's right. Different.
Was he there a lot in the races? Or was he-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not steady, but he came and went. Yeah.
What other drivers? I mean, I know some of them. We've interviewed some of the guys like Jim Scott. Jim Scott.
Yeah.
He was
Down Garland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would he been there when you were there, Fred?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Leo Himes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
from Frewsburg.
Pittsburgh. Ray Groves.
Ray,
Yeah.
yeah. Ray's over in Sugar Grove, yeah. Somebody just seen him the other day. Well, I think Jimmy Coan said his nephew was here. That's who it was, in here this morning.
Yeah. Oh, really, Harry? Now, there's an Ernie Eggleston. Was that your brother?
He was a cousin.
Panama.
Cousin.
Yeah, he won a few races. Don Little.
Yeah. Don's still around.
Yeah.
For all I know, he's still around over at Sugar Grove.
Sugar?
Sugar Grove area.
Now, the James boys, there were a lot of them that raced.
Yeah.
Of those, was there one better than others?
You don't really think so, do you?
I think Don won more than most of them. But
Well, there was Don, Leroy, Louie,
Walt was
Walt.
killed.
Yeah. I don't think Clyde ever raced, did he?
No, I don't think so. No.
Did you race beyond that, Fred? Once Roll O Bowl wrapped up.
Oh no, I raced Frewsburg some. They had a track in Frewsburg.
Right.
I can't remember the name of it even, you
Yeah.
know. But that's where Leo Himes raced most of his time,
Right.
was Frewsburg.
Did you ever go up to Sherman, gravel pit?
Yeah, a few times.
I did too.
And there was a track, Cool Road.
Yeah.
I went there a few times.
My first race car, that guy gave to me. That old 37 Plymouth, the one that caught fire. He gave it to me, and then he built a track up there.
Then I raced a car for Hellpenny. He gave you some pictures, I guess, or she did. I raced a car for him along the tail end after I guess I'd quit, and but we never did too well.
Right. Now, among some of the specialty activities that occurred there, including your buddy Red rolling over the car, what else was going on there at the Roll O Bowl to draw crowds?
Well, they had some little special entertainment now and then.
Woman's race.
Yeah, they had the women's race. I think they even had a backup race, didn't they?
Me and Stan
Yeah,
Stevens.
and
I think that's the only race I ever beat him.
What's a backup race?
Put it in reverse and go.
Oh, really? So literally?
One.
Oh my God.
Go
Time
backwards.
around the track. That's the only race I ever beat.
In the powder puff world, would that occur once a year or?
Oh no, they run it quite often.
Third week.
When they could get enough ladies to make competition.
Was there one woman who was better than others?
I can't really remember. Can you?
James was.
Yeah, I guess
Leroy's
so.
wife.
Leroy's wife.
And old Beulah wasn't bad.
Yeah.
She could run too. Every time I hear that name, I laugh.
Then we've seen some pictures of the wall of fire. How did that work?
Well, it was you build a platform with a little ramp on it, and then there was 2 uprights, and you put about 1/2-inch boards on it. They weren't close together, but there was gap 3-4 inches. And they poured gasoline on it, and the ramp was to keep the wall of fire from tipping over. That's why you run up, your wheels will hit it for you. And well, the paper there had it was Don McNitt, but
Who's that?
I don't know. That's not your brother, is it? But that's the way they did it. But
Did it that way.
it was when I did it. I drove the car, and Leo Yeager was on here with a football helmet on.
Is that right?
We did it twice.
That's to show this to Don to see.
Well, the paper spoke that it was Don. Yeah, that's the way you did it right there. Now that wasn't my car,
That was my old 34 Plymouth, I think.
so maybe that was when you and Don done it. I don't know.
So what possessed Leo Yeager to strap on a helmet to go through?
You had to know, Leo.
I mean, really, that's an amazing thing to do.
Probably none of you folks ever knew that. It would be, what, 350 pounds, 400 pounds?
He's a big boy.
So, I mean, literally, that picture shows somebody putting...
That isn't him.
No, but I mean, as far as, but the feet go into the...
No, that one did, but he braced his feet against the side
Yeah.
on the, and all he had for protection was that helmet. That's all he had. Just put your head down.
And you would be coming from turn 1 to 4, so we'd be going in the...
Well, he was on 4-2-1 is where they did it, on the right in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Red, when you would do your rollovers, you would be coming in the opposite direction, 1 to 4. And
Yeah, 1 to 4, and I'd run it up on the bank, and then cut the wheel and roll over. When it hit the 4 wheels, you go around again. I did that 10, 12, or 14 times.
I always told everybody when I went by him and he rolled over there, and I said, looked like a woodchuck sticking out of his head out of a hole.
I was pulling it back in, too. Yeah, that was funny.
But aside from Red, were there other characters? I mean, I realize he's the legend, but...
Oh, yeah, I guess, huh?
It's a crazy one.
Yeah. But everybody had their, I don't know, little quirks, but I know Johnny Whitehead mentioned that, tore the rear end out of his car one day, and he was done for the day, and I said, well, you ain't done. Go up to my place, which was, what, 1.5 miles away. And there's one sets up there behind the barn. And they went up and got it and put it in, and he got going for the feature.
No kidding.
Yeah,
My grandmother. Was this your car, Red? I see this picture. You know who that is? It's like a number 5, if I could look through the dirt there. That was a kiddie day. They had a kiddie day up there at the racetrack, and that's me in the car.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And
mine was, number was 7.5.
okay, so
I'm trying to see that. I can't pick out a number.
looks like number 5. At least there's a 5 underneath that dirt. Looks like.
But that's about the way mine looked.
Yeah.
I had the window cut out and all.
But remember, you threw us in the car, or whoever it was, and took a lap around and it was just fun for kids.
Oh, I remember hauling all them kids around. They enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably you driving, because you're the name that I keep remembering.
Oh, yeah?
my dad, Lyle Peterson, would talk about Red McNitt. So that's fun.
I hope it was good.
Johnny, I thought maybe Johnny'd be here. He generally comes. Huh?
I see Johnny.
Oh, did you see him come?
Yeah, I see him
Did he over there?
walking up.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been doing these interviews, and we keep kind of, well, you know, plugging it because we're all going to go to Roll O Bowl, and
Yeah.
the family went down there and mowed it,
Oh, did they?
so we can all walk down there, and just for old time's sake, it'd be a hoot.
I'd like to see you drive around there now.
Yeah.
Them trees stick.
But you know what they found, Red, yesterday? Because I went up just to see how everything was going. On turns 3 and 4, the planks you had, and
The old bridge?
they're there.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, so they you know, kind of mowed away the reeds and brush, and God darn it, they're there.
Really?
You can tell a lot of tales when you walk around there. That'll bring back something to. I've been wanting to go down and walk around that for the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
I just never done it.
Well, the owners are excited about having you folks come up there because they really didn't appreciate that they even had a racetrack there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just in the last, I went up there and told them, and then I walked down one day with them, and you could, I mean, clearly you could see it. I mean, you walk
Yeah.
around it, it's all there. And then they got excited and started showing up at our interviews, and they can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, that used to be my grandmother's place. That was a big barn right there. A lot of people used to go up and climb in the barn, look out the windows at it.
Yeah. I saw Mr. McDonald yesterday, and he said your grandmother would sit on the second floor and watch the races.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Well, this is great. Well, thank you for taking time. I don't want to stop you from.
Visiting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Don about this.
Yeah,
picture
go.
here.
Yeah, ask him who it is.
Yep.
I can't tell who it is.
I can't either.
Well, maybe just somebody.
Look, look,
Hey,
Freddie.
I mentioned that Morgan was. Where was he?
Morgan.
Where was he from? Youngsville or Warren?
Up on Yankee Bush.
Down that way somewhere.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I come into Bear Lake one day.
I,
Betty worked at the post office. She had the paper laid out there, obituaries. I just come in from Florida and I walked in and I looked down there, his picture.
oh, really?
Coincidence, you
So,
know?
Fred, I got to ask one question of your days at Roll O Bowl. What was your highlight? Yeah, knowing Red.
Yeah.
Aside from that,
Oh, you had a lot of close calls, but, you know, I mean, not that anybody going to get killed. I don't think anybody ever did that I know of, but they missed by inches, you know. Yeah.
did you find at times when there were so many cars on the track, you wondered how you could get around?
Well, that one, somebody had it over there, was, I said that must have been a feature
Right.
when they was lined up. Yes, and when they had a bunch of them in there, you didn't get going too fast to begin with.
Right. So it sounded like it was its own demolition derby.
It was, yes. Yeah. It was a lot of fun at the time. They, I raced after they'd started the State Line racetrack. It was still a jalopy, but they'd have a feature in up there, and well, I was married at the time. I had 2 or 3 kids, I don't know how many, and there was a big accident and fire, and I went through there. I never got hurt or marked or nothing, but my wife said that's it. So that was the end of my racing days.
Well, thanks so much, Fred.
Yeah.
Well, you had quite a career in racing, Jim.
No, not really. about 2 months.
For 2 months?
2 months.
Okay, why 2 months? Why just 2 months?
Well, I bought a car from my brother that run over there to Roll O Bowl.
Right?
He won a feature with it, and I thought, well, this is the car for me, so I bought it from him.
Right?
And I went to the Roll O Bowl, and all I found over there was a bunch of meanies.
Meanies, huh?
Meanies. I mean, that was their track. They didn't want you over there.
Right.
Yeah.
So where are you from, Jim? Where was hometown?
I was from I'm from right around Watts Flats, Sugar Grove,
Right.
and I think we was living in French Creek then.
Okay.
I know we was.
Right.
We moved away from here in '53,
Right.
and then we lived in French Creek for 5-6 years, and that's when I run Roll O Bowl for 2-3 weeks, and then I run Sherman and Sulphur Springs
Gotcha.
against Jimmy. Got the, what's his name?
Scott.
Jimmy Scott.
Right.
Yes. He was a #1 competitor over there.
Right. Right.
He would dominate in quite a few of them.
Right.
And I didn't have enough money to keep the car together, much less keep up with them guys.
Right. Right.
They say that they was the old stock cars.
Right.
Well, some was and some wasn't.
You think some took advantage, did they?
Oh, I think so. I'm sure they did. But it was more fun than anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of Roll O Bowl? I mean, you'd get on there for the first time, and it's not your normal track.
Oh, it was an obstacle course.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It gave everybody this pretty much the same. Nobody had advantage over the other one unless they'd been under the hood a little bit,
Right. Right.
or changing the gears or something like that. What's it all ended up doing anyway.
Right.
It didn't matter where you went. And then I graduated from there by my own choice and went to Sherman,
Right.
down in the gravel pit.
Right.
And that was a treat over there.
Right.
I don't know if they had very many rollovers over there because you could run right up the bank. It's just like driving in a big old wash pan,
Right. Right.
you know.
Right.
If they was lined up on the track, you'd just whip around the bank and get around however you could.
Right. Right.
Sulphur Springs was more like Roll O Bowl. That was a more or less an obstacle course,
Right.
but none of them was really fast tracks.
Right.
Thank God, there were probably a lot of us wouldn't be here today.
So it sounded like even with the Roll O Bowl that in many senses it was a demolition derby.
A lot of it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bump and grind.
Bump and grind.
Yeah. If you get out ahead or get a buddy system,
Right.
then you stand a chance.
Right.
And by the looks today, they're still using that buddy system.
I think you're right. Absolutely.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience.
Well, the good news, we're going to have a chance to go over to the track there this afternoon.
How are you?
Yeah, we're all going to go over there, caravan, including you, if you got time. But the owners of the property cleaned it up so that you can walk down
I
there
see.
into the track and
I see.
walk around, just for old time's sake.
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah. So join us afterwards. I think Blinky will make an announcement.
All right. I gotta ride with Fred, so whatever Fred does, I'll back him up.
Well, we'll see. Well, then we'll convince Fred.
Okay.
What's the highlight of your racing career?
When I went down into that creek nose first.
Nose first.
Yes, I think it was Carl Halpenny or Basil Ewer helped me off the track right there in that creek. And I just stood it on its nose down in that creek.
So this would have been between turns 3 and 4?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
How did that happen? Oh, remember?
They either caught up with me or I was a lap behind, I don't remember. But they put me out of their way anyway.
So there was a little bump and grind, and you ended up in the creek.
Yes, I did. And I think that was the end of my racing for that day because everything in that car shook loose.
Right. I bet. You get hurt?
No. I was telling Don and Red today, I don't think anybody got very seriously hurt up there.
Right.
All the while I remember going over there or knew of that track.
Did you find that sometimes the racers, if there was a lot of bumping and grinding and things like happened to you, did you ever look around to see who did it to you? And
Oh yeah,
sensation?
everybody's got a big smile on their face. I didn't do it.
Did you ever see a little pushing and shoving in the pits?
Not too much.
Yeah.
Not too much.
This wasn't your car, was it? That was
No.
no,
No, I had a 39 Ford.
right?
39. That looks like a 49 there. 49 or 50.
Did you?
No, that ain't a Ford.
What was your number, Jim? You remember your car number?
ZC3.
ZC.
That was my brother's number, ZC3, and mine was 03.
And who's your brother again?
Shorty. Shorty Coan.
He must have had a first name.
Harold.
Harold. And he had some success, huh?
Yeah, he won one feature up there. I got the news clip in there at home. I can't remember what year it was.
Right.
Probably 53, 54, somewhere along in there.
It's hard to believe. I mean, this was more than 50 years ago.
I know it. I know it.
And most of you guys are pretty much kids, you know.
Yeah. Somebody was just telling out there, was either Blackmer, Jim Scott, I think,
Right.
was in the feature. He was the next to the last car in the feature, and he said two cars behind him was the first lap cars.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. We got some crazy pictures of that. In fact, some of these pictures are Jim's from Jim's scrapbook.
See that tree right there by the barn?
Right?
Right down in that creek right in there is where I stood there. Stood her on her nose.
I'll be darned.
It wasn't, the creek wasn't deep, the ditch was.
The ditch was, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see some of that today.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll actually see the planks are still there.
Oh, are they?
That you, between 3 and 4 of the creek, they put planking down. And yesterday when they cleaned it all out, there's these old planks.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
It's amazing.
it's a hoot. Well, we'll all have fun today with that.
Yeah.
What else am I missing here, Jim, that I said? You'll walk away and you say, gee, it's a good thing Greg didn't ask this question.
Shorty Geisman, did anybody mention his name?
Never heard it, no.
Elwood was his real name. I used to go to school with him. And Bunk Ecker
Right?
were rivals down there.
Is that right?
Yes. I buddied around with both of them guys.
Yep.
They were both, Shorty's a little bit older than I am, Bunk was a little bit younger.
Right?
But they used to be kind of rivals because they both had about the same car.
Right?
And I can remember Bunk, one time his car run out of gas or something. He lost by just a nose. And he got out and he didn't have no hood on his car. And he jumped right up and down on the hood of his car. On the hood that should have been there. I don't even think he had a hood on it.
Yeah.
But they used to run over the state line too.
Right.
Them two guys did.
Was that sort of the end of the Roll O Bowls of the world when State Line really started to take off?
I think that's where a lot of the guys went because they was getting more experience and a bigger track up there, a lot cleaner track. And I think they was paying probably more money up there because they had more cars coming. I think that was the biggest reason that the guys left down there to Roll O Bowl. But that was a good family entertainment down there.
And it would be racing on Sundays?
Sundays only. No bleachers. Bring your chair, your pillow, or whatever, and sit on the bank. Or up in the woods on the backside. It was woods, thorn apples up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still there. You'll see that today.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
Oh, this is terrific.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming over here. telling some stories, and I don't care if they're true. They're wonderful.
The most of them are.
Figure out what it was attached to. It was a news release. It was Roll O Bowl in St. Jamestown, New York.
Hey, David, how you doing?
Well,
buddy?
I better see what's going on.
What'd you bring up here today? Okay.
They don't grow like that?
No, they don't.
Mike, you need a hand?
I'll go if I gotta crawl.
I was gonna say, I can tow you up out of this hole. We have to use your sweater for a rope, so. Oh God, what's that? Let me get in front in case you fall, grab a hold. No, that's down there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Down further. Should have been part of the judges' stand. They were big timbers. Good right in there.
You ended up right in the pond.
Bank right there? Thank you, sir. This must be coming into one here, right?
No, one's up the other way.
Oh, up there.
1 and 2's on, 3 and 4 is on the same.
Well, this is which end, Blake?
1 and 2.
This end is 1 and 2?
No, 3 and 4. This will be this.
This is? Oh, okay.
He ain't there
We
yet.
ain't even to the track yet. Oh, okay.
Oh, where you got that? High cars, low cars, however it was, but don't get too low here, you'll end up down there. So they'll push you.
This is kind of like a natural embankment here.
That's right.
What's the edge of the track here? Right here? This it?
This is it right here where we're standing and right over there. That was it. If they get out here, we'd put them right over the bank. We didn't have to worry about that guy.
You drive him over the bank, huh?
Yeah, we didn't need him. That's one thing about it. They had a few farm tractors getting.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
And the seats were up there.
There was actually bleachers up in there too? Yeah, just one row all the way down through.
This was all clear. There wasn't these trees here. It's where it come up and it come right up here. And there was nothing between, there's no brush in here. And that was a bank a lot of guys went over, pushing each other. And they had seats up here, cement blocks with seats on them. And all the drivers, they remember this. They don't remember the trees, but I'm sure that Fred told them. Okay, Fred.
What's that tree doing in the middle of the racetrack? No, it used to go right down through and then right down over the hill. When he come walking up, I said, I don't remember, because when he come across the creek, we was down there, it was flat.
You come right up.
When you come across the creek, you come right up the hill to here. So things changed quite a lot.
Well, when they went through the creek, they hit the water and stuff, and some of them guys pushed each other. I don't know who did it, but I know it's none of our drivers. Fred wouldn't do that, would you, Fred? But I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the drivers, there wouldn't have been no racetrack, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Hey, Don, was the creek wider back then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was, from here to that, about 5 here to that tree right there. And Leon bulldozed in, and then he bulldozed it out, you know. There was room for, how many cars?
Probably
5 or
3,
6?
4, 5.
Well, they put 5 or 6 in there.
Yeah. We always like to get one guy in the mud. Then everybody gets muddy and real.
Never dreamed I'd come back all these years. Matter of fact, I didn't think I'd live this long.
I've been wanting to come up here for years and walk around.
Yeah. But now that I stand here, I can see about 3/4 way through that, it looks like a swamp. That was the other part of the track. That was good times.
Part of the straightaway over there? Yeah, see where them white trees?
Yeah, now them up there.
That's the other straightaway. Then we'll come right up here. Past where them boards was. About where them boards was. When you went right straight up in
My dad's down right over.
Oh, you did, son? Oh, yeah.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Did somebody show you where the track was at, or? Oh, is that right? Yeah. You had an old timer help you? Yep, we come right down through here. There's the inside berm right there. You couldn't push them down over the bank there. You couldn't push them up the bank there. This is the way the bank went here. We just had a two-car width right here. And the only reason for that is because of the bridge.
Yeah, they're playing about the dot.
They funneled this right down, the two cars.
You could go a little faster down through here.
Oh yeah, you could. With that little 40 horsepower, we could go left. My daughter sold it.
Up there is the top of turn 4.
Now you can tell how wide the track was. Yeah, them were heavy planks. They was that thick probably.
How wide was the actual water?
Right from there to here.
But did this get wider though? How much
He wants to know
water
how wide the creek was. No, it was about like that, because we didn't dig this one way out. But you could run, it was all cleared all the way over to that tree over there, it's laying down. The line fences ain't too far from there.
So Glenn, should we start looking now?
Was it gold teeth?
No.
Never mind.
I never dreamed they'd be there.
Quite a bit of blood on it.
No, you'd never took these two off.
Yep.
You took these all before.
Well, another 50 years, we're not gonna.
I don't know, they're pretty water soaked.
That's amazing, isn't it?
They'll stay for. What year did you move?
We had a lot of rollovers in the track.
Hey, Don and Red? Okay.
They come off that third and fourth corner and they wanted to go fast, so they wanted a bridge. And I don't know how we lifted them planks, but they was mighty heavy. I remember that. And then after they got them in, they could really come off that corner. And Red can tell you more because he raced.
Just hold on when you come down the hill. That's about all you could do.
Red, how many times you roll that Studebaker?
12 or 14.
He'd come down off the hill here, run it up on the bank, and the Studebaker roll over on his wheels, and he'd go around the track and do it again.
Yeah, the hill is right there. That bank. You come down the bank, or come from the other end, come down, run up on the bank, cut the wheel, and roll over. When it hit its wheels, go around again. Finally, the front wheel fell off.
Where's Glenn? Glenn, why don't you tell your story here? I want to. You were so descriptive. This is Glenn's first race at Roll O Bowl.
Turn.
Do you recognize?
The track wasn't wide enough.
Do you recognize the tree?
No.
Glenn's very first race, he came around this corner, hit a tree, ended up in the hospital for how long?
Oh, 5 days.
5 days? The good news, Don, the statute of limitations is run.
Yeah, good. The Roll O Bowl got him.
And how many teeth were we looking for?
At least 3.
So look down at it.
Look.
Everybody look here.
37 37 Ford had that big nut in the center steering wheel.
Right?
Well, that's where I hit it.
Okay.
That's what.
Steer, not kiss.
What kind of car are you racing?
Ford.
Ford? What year?
37.
Okay.
Anybody else have a memory or two of this corner?
They all probably got memories if they want to say something.
Tell your story. That was a good story.
Yeah.
What? What you said you got on the inside of those guys.
Oh yeah, the guys always
hill.
wanted to run the bank, like Big Red and Don, and I just come right down through trying to sneak up the inside. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. This guy, he'd come right off the bank one day and come right down, upside down, right my way. And then we found out he had a 12-volt battery in there instead of a 6, so he wasn't legal.
Cheating way back there.
But Fred, you told about the story when Red rolled over.
That was right on that bank there.
Okay, tell the story to the rest of them.
There was no place for me to go, so I tried to go above him, and his wheels run right along my windows. Red stuck his head up out of there. I thought it was a woodchuck.
All I seen was wheels going over me. I was on my bottom.
Louis, tell a story about how you brothers chased Johnny Messenger up through the pit.
Yeah, I didn't chase him up through there. I was too little. I just threw rocks at him.
Yeah. John Messenger was on the outside. He got his car was right against mine sideways, man. He tipped me right over in that pit there.
And he almost
I
killed
got
me. I was
and I
flagging.
went up to the pit there, and he went on up there, and he went up and parked his car up the pit, man. He was gone up through the woods, and I was right after him. But I didn't catch him.
I don't know how fast a scared man can run.
Johnny did that to you too, Red?
No, he almost run me over. I was flagging that day.
Ah.
He almost run me over, looked up, there he was.
So where's the bank, Red, that you literally would come down from 1?
Yeah, from 1 and 2 I'd come down, run right up on the bank like this, cut the wheels and it'd roll completely over and back on its wheels. And just when it go on its wheels, just go on around again and do it again. Fun.
Get your $5 for that.
I don't know if I ever got paid.
That's right.